Welcome to MSP Voice, the weekly show for MSPs by MSPs. Brought to you by Cloudberry, the #1 cross-platform cloud backup. Learn more at cloudberrylab.com. This is MSP Voice. Hello and welcome to MSP Voice. This is episode number 6. At some point, I'm going to run out of fingers to do that. Today, I am very happy to have Kenny Grayson from Grayson Data Services join me from Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
How you doing, Kenny?
Great.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and Grayson Data Services and what you guys do.
So myself is easy. I pretty much just Google all day. I do try to not be the normal IT guy. I like to go fishing. I like to ride four-wheelers. That's about myself. I mean, I am in South Louisiana where it's, hot, humid, and there's water everywhere. So but we don't have cool beaches. Yeah.
I'm in Florida. We have beaches, but it's still hot too. So
man, I wish we had beaches. We have like swamp. That's pretty much it. It's kind of no fun except to ride a four-wheeler through it. As far as Grayson Data Services go, there's no four-wheelers. I mean, it's just like every other IT company. We try to be a full-service managed service provider, so end-to-end with whether it's just simple break-fix PC work or full-blown out managed services, cloud architecture, the whole 9 yards. I worked for many other IT companies in the past, and I really hate it when it was like, oh, that's the web server's problem, or that's the development guy's issue, or you need to contact your DNS GoDaddy. Man, you tell the client that they don't have any clue what you're talking about. So we just try to support all of it, and we even actually do software development as well. So
great.
If we write code wrong, we don't have the luxury to point somewhere else. It's our fault. So
yeah, finger pointing has always been an issue in IT. Definitely in my experience as well. It's always somebody else's fault. Yeah, blame the vendor.
Exactly. Unfortunately, it's always my fault. I don't know why, but problems seem to roll uphill to my desk. So maybe. I mean, it's all good. I like what I do. That's why I do it. So it's fun.
Great. So how many people do you have working for you?
Just a handful. Like I said, we're a small IT company. I don't really have any like intern type of level people. They're all upper level with a handful of years of experience at least. Most of them quite a bit of experience.
Okay.
And then I've actually partnered with, so the software development side has really ramped up high for us. We've landed a couple of pretty big projects that are lengthy. Like one of them's been going on for a couple of years straight.
Wow.
I think we're around 1.5 million lines of code on that project. That's a big project. So I've actually partnered with a development company that every now and then I can pull some of their guys in. They just let me leverage them when I need a little bit of extra resources, since I don't have a staff of 50 or anything. Like I said, it's just a handful of IT guys. But sometimes the client has deadlines for software development that's a little bit tighter than what we can handle, and they'll let us pull them in with no question. That comes in trade. I mean, we do IT service work for their clients whenever they reach out. So it's a fair trade for us. But other than that, we try to do everything in-house. I mean, it's nice. It's fun. I like to keep the company a little bit small, even though it runs a little bit lean every now and then. But I like to have crawfish boils and invite them to barbecues. You can't do that when you have 200 people. I don't really want to even know 200 people, to be honest with you.
Understood. So when you started out, did you start off with essentially break fix, or did you start off with just the idea of, hey, I'm going to do a managed services type business or app dev? I know you're doing some of that.
So when I started Grayson Data Services, I only wanted to do app development. That's all I wanted to do. Like I said, I worked for previous IT companies in the past doing managed service work, and I just got so tired of having to know everything. And anyway, ended up just saying, well, when I get out, I just want to do software development. So that's all I did. That's originally what I started my IT career in, was software development. So I figured that was the way to go. And man, it was feast and famine. When I had work, I was like one of those guys on a rap video. I had money flying everywhere. And then when the project was over, I'm like, man, I am one broke sucker.
So, you had to sell the Bentley, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have the little money cannon that was shooting dollar bills out, It was, So I had to evolve a little bit, where instead of just software development, I had to bring in a little bit of the, well, let me pick up some of your server infrastructure work, since
Okay.
I was setting up the servers anyway to install the software on that we wrote.
Mm-hmm.
I decided, well, let's just go ahead and do that. We'll leverage some cloud services. And then that kind of just started branching into, well, let us go ahead and support your networking, your routers, firewall, switches. Then that kind of branched out. And we tried to stay away from the help desk level work just because
Mm-hmm.
it becomes time consuming. But at the end, being just a one-stop shop for my clients has turned out to be the best solution.
Right.
We have a handful of clients that are pretty large, but honestly, the market that I try to go for is small business. So if you're
Okay.
less than 100 people, that's really what I want to target. And this is going to sound dumb, but they actually say thank you when you fix something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, unlike these other ones are like, well, why did it break? Well, it's because you only had 4 internet service providers instead of 5. All 4 went down. I don't know what else to tell you. So, yeah.
So you work with small business. Any particular verticals or type of customers you like to target?
No, nice ones.
Nice ones.
Yeah. No, it's really wide open. I have engineering firms, accounting firms, I have nonprofits, I have
Okay.
a lot of it is all over the place. So,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually fun. I get to one of the favorite services that I like to do is like a virtual CIO as a service. So I get to go in. I want to understand what you do in your company. I want to understand
Mm-hmm.
how your company works. And then it's nice because I may be at an accounting company and they are doing some oddball type of process, and maybe an engineering company that I do work for maybe they all use a certain platform or software vendor or something, and I'll know that'll be a good solution for the accounting company. So it allows me
Okay.
to become very well-rounded to say, have you looked at this? Now,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it is also nice because I can say, have you looked at this? And then hopefully I get to implement that.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. A lot of the companies have their own internal IT, and I just kind of get to sit on top of them and act as that buffer between the COO level type of positions and the IT department that have no clue what the IT guy's saying. After the
Mm-hmm.
meeting's over, they just Google some terms they remember, and they don't know if they're lying to them, telling the truth. They have no clue. So when I step into that role, I get to act as that intermediate person between the C-level people and the IT department, and I actually get to interpret, and I don't have to speak in binary code to these people. I can say things that I run a business as well. Like,
Yeah.
this is what this relates to.
Mm-hmm.
I just also happen to be really good at Googling. So I understand what your IT guy is doing because I've done it for so long.
Yeah.
So
Well, being on the software side for a number of years, that was when we talk about kind of pre-sales engineers, part of the sales team, you look for someone who can explain technology in common terms and doesn't have to use all the technical mumbo jumbo that, a lot of times the IT department, they need to be able to speak that, but they also need to be able to translate into business terms and what does this mean for the business and those types of things. So that's very important trait to have. And
yeah, it's nice. It's actually a selling point. Like when I go to
Mhm.
pick up a new client, you'd be so surprised that you may, since you're in the IT field, but you'd be so surprised how many clients come in and they're like, look, I don't understand what this is saying, and I don't want all the technical mumbo jumbo. Like, it's
Yeah.
some version of that, but it's pretty much exactly what they say. And I usually respond with, well, let me have a shot at explaining this. I guarantee you I can explain it in a way that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And usually I can turn around and say, that's fun for me. I like to
Mhm.
go meet the client. I like to meet the new client, land the new client,
Mhm.
understand how their business works, and then look like a superhero when I just suggest, like, have you ever leveraged the cloud for backup? And they're like,
Oh.
wait, we don't have to take these drives home anymore, or something so simple that it's just like, look, once again, I'm a business owner as well. I
Mhm.
have staff that tells me a bunch of nonsense they pull out of their butt as well. Like, I used to be one of them.
Yeah.
So it's nice when you can have that connection. And then once again, supporting small business and they just say thank you.
Mhm.
It almost makes you want to work for free, except when you have to pay your house note and you're like, I can't work for free. So,
Yeah. I've done projects in Louisiana before, and I always found the people down there just to be so friendly and ready to work, and it was great experience every time I had a project in Louisiana. So
no, it's good. Well, you
um,
must not have worked with all the other clients I work with.
uh, so You talk about going to meet the clients. Do you have a sales team, or do you pretty much, just rely
So
on yourself?
I've I've actually reached out and had I've never really had my own sales team. I brought some
Hmm.
people in to do some essential like cold calling, which was miserable. I didn't even want to. That lasted like three
Yeah.
months, and that was I think I just wasted money doing that. But I've outsourced some sales stuff because I don't. The thing is, that's something I don't know. I
Hmm.
like to go meet the client, and the thing is, it's hard for me to find another person who enjoys to go meet. A lot of IT people should just be locked in a closet, not allowed to talk to anybody. As much as I hate to say that. When I interview people, if I can't carry a conversation with you, I'm not
Yeah.
going to hire you. That I don't. We don't need to talk technical. If we can't talk about phishing, even if it's just you hate it, if you can't carry on a conversation, it's not going to work. So I actually rely on the IT guys like the internal systems engineers while they're
Hmm.
on site to also have
Okay.
those sales types of skills. And then I mostly because I've learned that when I bring in a salesperson, they don't have the background that we have.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can go out and sell some marketing fluff of like, here's my flyer or
Hmm.
here's the fancy words. But when it really gets real deep into it, they were having me go meet with the client with them anyway. So I
Hmm.
felt like and when I was there, we talk, we get real detailed, and I'm like, well, that's great. This person just took notes for the last hour. Like,
Hmm.
I don't really need a dedicated sales team to take my notes,
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just kind of the way I've approached it.
Yeah. So what about advertising though? Do you advertise? How do is there ways you get your name out there, or you just do word of mouth?
To be honest with you, pretty much every one of my clients have been word of mouth, and it's nice. And I think
Yeah.
that goes back with the fact that I explain things in a way that isn't in IT mumbo jumbo. Like
Hmm.
I go out of my way to answer the call. If I don't answer the call, I call you back. I want to learn you at a personal level, a business level, and like they just pass my name around, which is great. I have done some advertising, just simple like Google advertising, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that works, but most of my clients have been word of mouth. Now, partner websites like Microsoft, Amazon, those kind of things,
Hmm.
you do the work, you get your name out there, and then people find you on those websites. Those work as well. Um, and then, believe it or not, if I'm able to, I like to sponsor things like kids softball leagues, baseball leagues,
Okay.
those kind of
Yeah.
things. And I'll sponsor stuff like that, charity events, or
Hmm.
there's a lot of crawfish boils in South Louisiana. I will go out and you pay X amount of money and you get your name on a tent and you get to go out there and boil crawfish all day. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much my advertising is
Hmm.
that, but I don't, I guess I just don't do a ton of it.
Yeah.
But
Well, but even like you said, sponsoring events and charities and those types of things, it gets your brand out there at least.
yeah,
And you're targeting small business anyway. A lot of these people probably work for a business, and it's just another way to get the brand out there, and but also you're doing helping the community as well at the same time. So
makes me feel good.
yeah, good. So what kind of advice do you have for someone who's just thinking of getting started in services? They're thinking about, hey, I'm ready to go on my own and start my own company, and I can do services or break fix or something like that. What kind of advice do you have for them?
Man, don't do it. Then you'll be my competition, and I don't want competition. So, no, it's fun. I worked many different IT companies throughout my career. I was even director of an IT company before, and it's fun. But once I stepped out on my own, it man, I love it. I wish I would have done it sooner. Some
Okay.
advice would be um, when I first started out, I didn't have the funds to go purchase the right tools, to purchase
Hmm.
the right software. Like for my business, I use ConnectWise for like my management PSA and everything else,
Hmm.
and to automate, and that's expensive. So
Yeah.
I would say as soon as you are able to afford things like that, the right software, the right tools, you should.
Okay.
Leverage word of mouth. Go out. Don't. And the other thing is, like, I stumble across people often that are like, "Oh, I'm not doing that job. I can't make $300 an hour." Man, you have no clients.
Yeah.
Do it for $60.
Hmm.
Get your
Yeah.
name out there. Make sure they're happy, and then you're good. You'll get your foot in the door, and that's all that
Hmm.
you matter. You're looking for that reoccurring revenue. And that's another big thing. My business model had to change. Like I said, I was a rap star baller 1 month, and then 4 months later, I have nothing. So reoccurring revenue, start that in the beginning. Find ways to sell services, not just break fix. You have to be well-rounded. Don't put all your eggs in one giant client, because if they walk away, you're out. So but mostly, if you can invest in the right tools, do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I know, that recurring revenue, that's obviously part of the services model is, and everyone's going to it, right? Software companies, every software company now is going to, more of a rental model than a buy model. It's monthly or yearly or whatever, and so the whole industry is adopting that. So you kind of have to adopt it as well.
Yeah, it is sad, because I do have some clients who are just old school and they'd rather use paper and pencil, and they're like, I don't understand why we pay $8 a month for this. We could just buy it before. And I'm like, okay, so you go buy a server for $5,000, you pay me a day to put it in, and then it breaks a year later, you pay me another day plus lost revenue. Really? You could have paid $80 a year. Like, I don't. And honestly, some of them just do not get it. No matter how many charts, graphs you put in front of them, no matter if you look at how much they have paid in the past, like at invoices before you even became their managed service provider, like, it doesn't matter. The numbers, they're like, I don't want to pay this every month.
Yeah.
Then don't. But good luck.
Find somebody else who will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so what do you think is kind of the greatest part about being in managed services and doing what you do?
Since I don't really target any specific type of industry, that's what's fun. I seriously can go from helping someone who's in the Virgin Islands build cloud architecture in Ohio to now I'm helping, and that's true. That's a real scenario. And then all of a sudden I am helping someone debug some SCADA programming for like PLC logic for an oil rig. Like, it's insane. Like, just the stuff you get to see. I walked through it was a sugar plantation. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. They wanted to automate parts of like what they did and data they collected from sensors on like heat sensors and weight and everything else. Man, that was awesome. I would never get to go see these giant machines again. Like, now, of course, when I go to those, I'm like, look, I'll knock off like $20 an hour. You let me drive that bulldozer. I mean, no one ever goes with it, but you make a joke. You get to see these things that, I mean, I would have to go work in that industry to see. Whereas this time, I don't. Like, it's nice. I mean, you just get to jump all over or in my field, I just get to jump all over the place. Technology is technology, man. It doesn't matter. Mac, you're using a PC, a server. If one you buy from Best Buy is a switch you're using, or some Cisco or Juniper or whatever you decide, man, they all work the same way. Packets, bits, bytes, ones. It's all the same junk. It doesn't matter. But it's what they're doing with it that's like, wow. Well, you're doing that completely wrong, but that's really cool that you can do that with it. So some other advice, don't tell your client you're doing that completely wrong.
But you kind of, that idea of, getting to see multiple different types of industries and those types of things. That's one of the things I always enjoyed about consulting, which is one of the things I did early in my career is, you do get to go out and you see these companies and it's like you never knew that this industry even existed. That these people made these widgets, and then you think about it, it's like, well, somebody has to. So
exactly.
it's
awesome. Like the sugarcane plantation I was talking about. Apparently, I was on site one day, and this truck drove up onto a platform, and they strapped it down with these brackets, and they lifted the whole truck, and it dumped the sugarcane out. And I was like, whoa, that's impressive. Like, why don't you just like dump it out like a normal truck? And they said, because sugarcane trucks don't lift like that. And they said, this is faster for us to have a machine that controls these ramps, and it's all automated. And I'm like,
oh wow,
that's cool to see.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. Like, you get to see a giant 18-wheeler just get lifted up vertically. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's stuff like that I wouldn't get to see that. I mean, on a normal, let's say I'm an accountant. When am I going to see that?
Exactly.
Unless that's my screensaver when I stare at Excel for too long, I'm not seeing that.
Yep. So that's kind of the best part. What's the worst part about managed services and things?
man, when's the last time someone called you and said, hey, thanks, man, my machine is working great? Like, they do not call you unless something is broken.
Yeah.
That's it. Or they think their bill's too high. They never call you just to say, I hope you're having a great Tuesday. Like, so
Well,
you
maybe
do
if they
have to
listen to this, they will. Maybe,
well, I mean, they should call me to say, I hope you're having a great Friday at least,
Mhm.
But yeah, that's probably the worst part. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, you just have to be prepared for, man, stuff's always broke. And if it's
Yep.
not broken, you wouldn't have a job.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, IT is kind of a thankless job in a lot of ways. So
mhm. Yep,
you don't get
that's
that. You
not
don't get
even a
that.
big complaint. By
Yeah.
default, I don't really know how this has happened pretty much my entire career, but you can probably confirm, man, when you sign up, I'm going to become an IT guy for a living. You pretty much just check the box that says work 24/7. So, no, I mean, you're eating at a
Yeah.
restaurant and you're like, someone slips up and says, oh, he's an IT guy. He can look at the printer for you. Man, I just want my bacon. I don't want
Yeah.
anything else.
And then family gatherings are always fun too.
Yeah. Man, I don't want to support another iPhone. Like, I don't care. How can you struggle to use a phone? Like, they haven't even changed since like day one. Like, come
Yeah, I
on.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you consider do you consider yourself part of an MSP community? Do you use any resources, Reddit, Facebook, ASCII, all those types of things?
Man, who doesn't get on Reddit? Like, um, I mean, I've been to a few little, like, I don't know, I guess IT conventions types of things
Mhm.
out here, just in the past. I mean, nothing. I, all honesty, outside of work, I'd rather go fishing and ride a four wheeler.
Okay.
But I do get on Reddit. I do contribute to things.
Hmm.
I actually have considered making like a YouTube channel for just the common stuff, and hopefully just having conversations like this on a YouTube
Hmm.
channel. Like, look, here's how you do some of these basic tasks, and here's what this and
Yeah.
this means. I haven't done it yet, but it is something that I've considered. I mean, maybe if I get some extra feedback, maybe from this, maybe it'll push me to, let everyone else hear my lovely voice. So.
It's really easy. It just takes time, right?
Exactly. And then so you're in front of your computer all day, and people, they ask me, they're like, man, I bet your machine at home is fast. Yeah, I pretty much use my phone. Like,
Yeah.
if I can't do it on the 12 hours I'm in front of a PC a day, probably not that important to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Understood. So so thinking about technologies, whether it's, services, IT services related or anything, what are some of the technologies that you're excited about today or that might be on the horizon that you're excited about?
Oh man, should my answer be Cloudberry?
Ah, it can be whatever you want it to be.
Um, Man, I don't know. I'm excited about anything new that comes out because it's just something cool to go learn and do. But then at the same time, it's also scary because some of my clients want to be leading edge, and I'm like, man, this is like public preview, not production. Like, so, um, all honesty, I, I like AWS a lot, like Amazon Web
Mhm.
Services. So anytime they
Yeah.
roll out a new feature, I do get kind of excited about that. Um, I mean, it's just something cool. I mean, I guess the whole Internet of Things, if being able to potentially one day be able to sit on my couch and my oven tell me that my chicken nuggets are done, that's going to be pretty cool. Um, you know, but I don't really get too excited about a lot of things. I mean,
Okay.
it's fun. I have fun doing them. I can't really pick one thing over the other that's
Yeah.
like, whoa, that's it.
So what are you most worried about when it comes to technology? What kind of things are you
Man,
scared of?
security. So, like,
Yeah.
so as a managed service provider, one of the biggest things that I turn around and sell to clients is we'll manage your security for you. So firewalls, antivirus, we'll do, DNS, we'll do in email, all kind of multiple layers. I'm
Hmm.
just always afraid that one day, like, I'm not doing something well enough, and then all of a sudden all of my clients have a vulnerability that I was unaware of.
Oh,
And
yeah.
not necessarily that they'll all get infected at the same time. I don't think that would happen, but I don't no one likes to fix viruses or ransomware. I mean, it just seems
Yeah.
like it's always everywhere. And now I mean, these people who are sending out these phishing emails are getting so sneaky. Like they'll say Microsoft, and they'll change the font to where a 0 looks like an O, and the rest of the font, it looks so legit. It's scary. Like, but at the same time, it's pretty cool. I mean, you know, as much as I hate to say that, like it is really kind of cool. Like, wow, someone thought to do that.
Yeah.
But
so
it's scary.
Yeah, you talked about the technologies that you can put in place. What about, do you train your clients or your customers to kind of watch out for that social engineering aspect of
I do, and I'm actually about to start rolling out a service where we'll try to trick your employees for you. Yeah, so I'm actually probably going to start that next month. So it's something I've been fiddling around with, trying to work out the bugs, because I want it to be as legit as like these other ones I'm saying, where they're changing a 0 to an O to a 0 kind of thing, and it takes a lot to think of that kind of stuff. So I am doing that kind of level of, well, starting next month, I should be doing that kind of level of service for my clients, and then let them see what the end users are doing, and then provide a more and like detailed and more focused level of training specifically to where they have really failed. Well, hopefully none of them fail, but someone's gonna fail. And then it's also a good thing, because since I manage security for them, it allows me to test, like blindly test, how the software and intrusion detection and things that I put in place is going to handle this as well. So
so I know I was talking to a company this week, and they do that similar type of thing where they send out the test emails and those types of things, and they give T-shirts to people who caught a phishing attack and ran up the flagpole before they got caught. It says like basically like I caught the fish, and then they also have a different color T-shirt for the people who fail.
That's
kind of a shaming T-shirt. So I don't know if people wear it, but you don't want to.
That's a good idea. I might actually do that too. I'm pretty close with a lot of my clients, especially the higher up people, which, like I said, the small business makes that easy to do. I might actually do that. Like, man, look, I got this guy a shirt. Like, he failed bad. He clicked every one that we sent, and in fact, some of them he did twice. So, that would be.
I mean, you don't want to shame people. You don't want to shame people too much. You have to fit into the culture of your clients, but at the same time, you kind of need to do something so that they realize the importance of what's going on.
Yeah, and the fun thing is, back previous many companies ago, I used to actually do that, the penetration testing. So it was fun. Like, you go do it for certain clients. It's really fun, especially when you start doing things and all of a sudden their printer starts printing out a bunch of gibberish, and it's like, oh, well, that's interesting, but it's cool I got in, so.
Yeah, I lived through the I love you many years ago, and I had all these fax numbers in my contact lists, and people were calling me. It's like, why are you faxing us all this gibberish? It's because I clicked on a link because I was stupid. So
it's all that dumb.
Okay, great. So we're about ready to wrap things up here, but of course I have the rapid fire round. So these are simple, quick questions. Just it's an easy answer. Don't think about it too hard, and we'll go through, and then we'll wrap up at the end on the other side. So,
man, do I need to open up Google? Do I need to open Google for this?
No. Okay. You don't need Google. It's okay. So, Apple or Android?
Apple.
Okay. Mac, Linux, or Windows?
Windows, then Mac.
Okay. Amazon or Azure or something else?
Amazon.
Okay. Local backups or cloud, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Both, yeah.
Okay. And then which is worse, printer support or vendor cold calls?
Oh, man. I'm going to say printer support, because a vendor cold call, they'll just hang up on you. Printer support, you still got to fix it. One lasts longer than the other one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You can hang up on a vendor, you can't hang up on a printer.
Right.
Great. So, any last words of wisdom from you before we wrap up here?
Man, what I do is fun. I don't think it's for everyone, but if it's someone who's interested in starting their own MSP, they should just go for it. So, leap in, go nuts. You're not going to be able to support everything. Just whatever you do support, do it well. So.
Okay. Yeah, and I like, your angle that you also do app dev. That's kind of a different angle. It's another part of the business. And so it's not all just managed services. So you have some variety thrown in there to probably helps on the income part as well.
Man, rap star. That's what I'm saying. Like, software development is really fun, but it's a whole nother animal. Here's a little bit of extra advice. I only am doing app dev because it's what I did before I started doing IT work. I
Okay.
would not say that's for everyone because they're managed two completely different ways.
Yep.
So it's fine for me because I did it for so many years, and then I did managed service work for so many years. Now I sit on top and I manage two different teams, but each team completely different animals. So yeah.
Understood. Great. Well, so we are recording this on a Friday, so I want to say happy Friday. Hope you're having a great Friday.
Yeah. See, it works.
See, it does work. And I really appreciate you being on, Kenny, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, that sounds fantastic. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks. You too.
All right, bye.